I'm Ruth Hassel Thompson, State Senator for the city of Mount Vernon and parts of the Bronx. I'm proud of Mount Vernon. We've come a long way. We've accomplished a great deal. But no, the job is not finished yet.
Most people think of Mount Vernon as being divided into three sections: the north side, the south side, and the downtown shopping area. On the north side, that part of the city north of Mount Vernon Avenue, Lincoln Avenue, and Sydney Avenue, stately estate-like homes and single-family residences are nestled on lots with front, rear, and side yards. The south side lies south of the tracks of the New Haven line of the Metro-North Railroad. Housing here is more densely situated. This is where some of the city's oldest housing structures still stand, having been converted from the single-family homes of Mount Vernon's first residents to 2- and 3-family structures housing today's families. The downtown area is generally referred to as the center of the city. City Hall, strategically nestled on the north-south borderline, is easily accessible from anywhere in the city.
Mount Vernon, over these 25 years, through 5 mayors that I have watched, 30 years I've watched 5 mayors, has made consistent progress from where I first saw it. There has been improvement in housing stock. Let's take it this way. There's been improvement in various dimensions of the city's development. There has been improvement in relationships between people. Let's talk, the non-physical. There is a emerging diversity, emerging tolerance. This is an international community more and more than it has ever been. It is less polarized than it has been in the past. We've made some progress there.
What most people don't know is that for most of its existence, Mount Vernon enjoyed prosperity and influence throughout the county and the state. No one can deny that Mount Vernon, with its central location, specialty shops, and people, was fondly referred to as the first stop in suburbia up until the late 1940s and 50s.
Mount Vernon was an incredibly wonderful place to grow up. It was an urban area, but it had a very small town feel.
Growing up in Mount Vernon is a very unique experience because it's such a small, tight-knit community. And you were exposed to many different cultures, and there's one high school, so paths cross all the time. Your friends are black, your friends are white, your friends are Latin, your friends are everything in between. And there were times when I just remember coming up, like I felt like it was the best place to be because you had the best of everything. Even situations where, you know, what was, you know, might have been what they considered the bad part of the neighborhood. It wasn't, you know, it was just, you know, a different culture of people, and it was just always exciting to be around.
By the 1960s, Mount Vernon, like many other cities, was burdened with trying to provide essential services to a fast-changing population. At the same time, our nation was laboring the growing pains of social and political change. Movement of people from the South, coupled with an influx of foreign nationals from abroad, swelled Mount Vernon's less affluent neighborhoods. The number of people requiring specialized services in housing, education, and social welfare was mounting to a point of frustration for citizens and concern for the administration. The city's demographics were changing at a rapid pace, as was the nature and complexity of issues facing city administrators. An increasing poor population, a deteriorating infrastructure, high unemployment, and a dwindled tax base presented challenges that were negatively affecting quality of life and perceptions of Mount Vernon, some of which continue to stalk the city today.
At the death of Tom Sharp, Ron Blackwood became mayor, and I took his seat. I believe that was 1985, when I was on the council. And that was a time of a lot of change. We were building, actually infrastructure building. We built the parking lots, all the garages across the city. And later than that, we did the police station several years later, because that was a travesty the way it was originally handled, with people being marched across the street when the courthouse was in City Hall. That was something I really wanted to see changed, and thankfully it was changed.
During the latter part of the 1980s and the first half of the 1990s, Mount Vernon began the process of identifying key problems and laying the foundation for change. In 1996, an aggressive campaign began that would lift the spirit of residents and change the face of a city that some people felt was not worth the struggle.
Basically, I attribute it to my background and the influence of my parents and my being an architect. I see the city through the lens of an architect more than a politician. I understand politics, but the other thing that influenced me is the civil rights movement. I look at the city and I see that a lot of people don't understand it, and a lot of people, even people within the city, don't understand it. And when that happens, when the communication of who you are is not parlayed to the outside world, you tend to ingest it. So I have the social part of it, and then I have the building part of it. The building part of it is relatively easy because I'm an architect. The other is a little more difficult because it has had such a long-standing influence on people's lives.
Strategies were quickly developed to address the most pressing issues confronting people living, working, and doing business in Mount Vernon.
The members of our congregation who live here in Mount Vernon have been longtime residents of the city, and they are very committed to the city and see the potential here as continue to be a place where there's going to be a renaissance. They really believe in the city. It's convenient, well located, and the values that the people of the city have are really ready to set the city in motion for a very exciting 21st century.
So as not to dictate a finalized plan for the city's future, the administration enlisted community input from the very beginning and encouraged people to be a part of the change that was going to happen in their neighborhoods.
As an architect and a planner and a politician, you have to work together to change people's minds, change people's attitude. And when you do that and have some successes, then they feel comfortable with you. Essentially, almost every deal that you make is personal, whether they believe in you.
Everyone understood change had to happen to increase Mount Vernon's tax base in such a way that the people would profit. Any citizen wanting to participate was welcome at meetings. Everyone agreed if success was to be realized, it was essential that a working partnership be the driving force.